for June 23rd, 2016. Carmen, please call the roll.
Hoffman,
Here.
Baker. Here. Clapper,
Here.
Throckmorton,
Here.
Aquila.
We have 1 minute to be approved, May 26, 2016. Any additions and or corrections?
Move approval of the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Minutes are approved. Reports, resolutions, and communications from staff.
Couple quick ones here. First, I'd like to congratulate, this thing's right in my face, Beth Rosenbarger. This may be her last meeting in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals tonight. She's taken a new position as the city's bicycle and pedestrian coordinator. Yes. So you will still see her around town. You'll still see her advocating for good bicycle and pedestrian safety and planning around the city, but most likely not in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals very much anymore. And then the second item with us tonight is our new planning director, Christy Langley. And I think she's going to have a couple quick words for you here.
I just wanted to say hi to y'all. Christy Langley, Plan and Transportation Director. I know Mr. Hoffman and Mr. Baker from Plan Commission, but I wanted to do the face to name with the rest of y'all tonight. So I don't have anything to say. There's nothing that special about me, but I'm here to help serve the community of Bloomington and you guys as public servants. So thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, James.
First petition to be heard is Robert Demuth and Emily Black. Staff report, please.
Okay, thank you. This property is located at 605 South Meadowbrook Drive. That is in Hoosier Acres, just south of 3rd Street, east of Clariz Drive. And it is a corner lot there, as you can see, on Meadowbrook and Brown Ridge Road. That is zoned single-family residential. The GPP designation is core residential. The aerial image there shows a home, but that home has been demolished since 2014 when the aerial image is from. And the petitioner would basically like to construct a new home on this single-family lot and is requesting a variance from the requirement to construct a sidewalk along the property. Existing, it is vacant, but they would like to replace a single-family home on the site, and all surrounding uses are also single-family residences. So this image is just the northern edge of the property facing east along Brown Ridge Road. So they're requesting the sidewalk variance. I've kind of already gone over all this. It is a corner lot. Again, has frontage on Brown Ridge and Meadowbrook. This is their site plan for the proposed home. The driveway on the southern part of the property is the existing driveway location. The frontage along Meadowbrook is approximately 175 feet, and the frontage along Brown Ridge is approximately 200 feet. I guess, peculiar conditions and challenging topography are what I'm going to highlight on these next slides. So these two circles represent areas on the property where there are existing large culverts. And I guess actually the one on the north isn't technically on the property. It's within the right-of-way where the sidewalk would be located. So and the one on the southern part of the property is where the driveway is, and just a culvert under the driveway. So the culvert on the northwest corner of the property in the right-of-way, this is just one image of it. It's pretty large. It goes under the road and goes under all points of the intersection onto the adjacent properties as well. There's about a 5-foot difference from the elevation of the road down to the property here. And you can see that from standing at the bottom of the culvert, and the road is at the top of that image. This is the driveway culvert. That one is less substantial than the corner one, but you can tell a bit how the ditch is just along the side there of the property, and we would classify those as steep slopes around the perimeter. This side of the property along Meadowbrook, Again, that's just an image facing north along the corner to give you an idea. It's always hard to tell elevation in an image, but I think this captures it a bit, that in order to put a sidewalk here, we would either be looking at the higher red line, which would be a 6-foot monolithic sidewalk immediately adjacent to the street edge, which would definitely require some fill and other drainage work to go with it, or a sidewalk at the low end of it that sits below the street that would also require some drainage work because it would be replacing the drainage that is there. Along the north property line, it is quite similar to that western property line, that the property has some steep slopes. I get that it's not a huge elevation change, but 5 feet from the road to the low point on the property with a quick drop-off is a bit substantial for an individual property owner constructing a sidewalk. These are really hard to tell what they are images because it's all brambly of just the other two culverts, and one is a drop down from the western side of the intersection and the other is the culvert on the north side of the intersection, just to give you an idea that it is an existing condition that impacts the adjacent properties as well and would make, I guess, constructing a sidewalk network a bit challenging, but who knows for the future. So, and then these are just the criteria that I went through that I'm happy to repeat, but they're also in your packet. So staff, would say for the city, creating safe places to walk is a priority for us, and we always want to promote walkability. In this case, we feel that pedestrian safety isn't an issue in this neighborhood where there are no existing sidewalks. There is 2 streets to the south where an apartment complex went in, and that's the only one in the neighborhood. So we got a lot of input from different neighbors. The overwhelming majority were in support of the variance and said most people are accustomed to driving slower and accommodating bicyclists and pedestrians in the street. So staff recommends approval of the variance.
Thank you. Petitioner's representative? Can you step up the lectern, please? Can you state your name, please?
Lauren Wood.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have up to 20 minutes to make your presentation.
Okay. Well, I think that my application speaks for itself. The pictures speak for themselves. So at the risk of repeating everything that was in there, I won't. I just want to say that, you know, it would be a substantial cost to these homeowners to force them to put in a sidewalk in a neighborhood where sidewalks aren't wanted. The neighborhood wasn't designed and developed with the intention of putting in sidewalks, drainage. There aren't stormwater sewers in place. If we were to fill that and put in sidewalks, it would create unknown and likely unwanted drainage conditions and issues. You know, you guys have heard a bunch of sidewalk variance applications. I think the arguments are typically the same. I'm not going to repeat them other than to say that I wish that in these established neighborhoods where there will never be a continuous network of sidewalks that this wasn't the standard. And I realize that you guys probably aren't the ones who put this standard in place. Maybe you aren't the ones who can change it. But this, you know, these infill neighborhoods that don't have a network of sidewalks I don't see the city investing the money to install a network of sidewalks and asking the homeowners, individual homeowners who are replacing decrepit homes like this one was, to foot the bill for a sidewalk that stands alone, that's not wanted by the neighborhood, is an unfortunate thing to ask. And I'd really like you guys to approve my variance to not have that sidewalk here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for staff and/or petitioner by the board? Joe? Okay. Is there anyone in the public that would like to comment? Any final comments from the petitioner? Okay. See none, back to the board for action.
Move approval of sidewalk variance request V-21-16 based on the findings and conclusions in the staff report.
Any other comments? Carmen, please?
Clapper,
Yes.
Throckmorton,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Aquila,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Motion passes. Petition is granted. Please let the record reflect that I will be recusing myself for the next case.
So the next case is CU-20-16, Bloomington Bagel Company.
I'm going to give Sue just a minute to.
Oh, I got to sprint over.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a conditional use request. It's located in the downtown at 425 East Kirkwood Avenue. And it is commercial downtown zoning, part of the University Village overlay, GPP downtown. It is a mixed-use building where the first floor is currently vacant, and all surrounding uses are mixed use as well, in case you're not familiar with Kirkwood. The petitioner is requesting conditional use approval for a standardized business to be located within the University Village overlay. The only two overlays where this applies is the Courthouse Square overlay and the University Village overlay. This is for Bloomington Bagel Company, and they would like to relocate to utilize this location while making plans to actually replace their existing building on South. I said south, I guess it is North Dunn Street. That's incorrect. So standardized business, I included the definition in the packet, so I don't need to read it. Maybe it's fair for me to say the goal, I believe, was to keep and preserve our eclectic character in the University Village and in the Courthouse Square, and to provide an extra level of review for any chain establishments coming into the community. So I would say that was the impetus, and I'm sure you can debate if that was achieved. So that is the definition of standardized business. So this is the location. I believe Panda Express used to be located on the first floor, which must have moved in before that was a requirement, because that would also be a standardized business. It's adjacent to Nick's English Pub, if anybody's ever heard of that. And I believe the other side of it is a clothing store, and there are apartments upstairs. There are no exterior changes planned. This would just be to use the space to sell bagels. They would actually be made off-site in a commissary, and if the petitioner would like a sign, she would have to apply for a sign permit, which would just be required to meet code. So we think it is a mixed-use building that is the same as all the surrounding buildings and uses. There are no anticipated nuisances associated with this use, only possibly some bagel odors. No adverse impacts anticipated, and pretty much no changes to the building. The infrastructure is in place. The building is not historic, and everything will have to meet all other UDO standards. We would say that this is a business that was started in Bloomington, and one way that they show their connection to the community is usually a bunch of photos on the interior that feature Bloomingtonians holding bagels around the world. So based on the findings, staff recommends approval of the conditional use.
Thank you. Petitioner's representative. Please state your name.
Suzanne K. Aquila.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have 20 minutes to present your petition.
Thank you to staff for their assistance in being on the other side in this process. Special thanks to Tony Moravec, the owner of the building, and Panda Express, who allowed me permission to sublet this space. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for staff or petitioner? Okay. Anyone in the public would like to comment on this petition? Seeing none, any final comments from the petitioner? No? Any other comments from the board? I'm back to the board for action.
I will move approval of CU-20-16, conditional use approval, based on the findings and conclusions that are set forth in the staff report.
Carmen, please call the roll.
Baker,
Yes.
Clapper,
Yes.
Throckmorton,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Motion passes, petition is granted. We are adjourned.